In the Assignments 3 folder, you're going to see a link to a file called Chapter 3 Lecture Notes. This is an assembly language source file. It has a .asm extension. And for every assignment folder, you're going to see a lecture notes file. The contents of this file, I'm going to add to a project, an empty project, and build it, and then get into debugger and kind of show you how to walk through a little bit of the code. Anyway, these lecture notes are notes that I use when I teach this class on campus, and they're sort of a starting point for talking about these topics. And you might find them useful. So if I were to, I've got Visual Studio Express 2013 open here. I'm going to go open a project file that I think is empty. We'll find out pretty quick. Let's see, we're on the C drive, yeah. And this is a folder that's included in the standard installation, the standard distribution that you should have. So I'm going to open this file. And as you can see now over here in the project solution pane, there is no source associated with it. If there was, I could remove it if I wanted to add a different source or do another lab. So to add source, I can right click, select add existing item. And then I'm going to go out to, or just about in this right place. I'm going to go out to Irvine and go into, this is a folder, my folder, it's not part of your distribution, but here's the source. This is the file you would download from the Assignments 3 folder. There it is. Now we've literally added the contents of this file to this project. If I double click on it, you can see it over here in this window. So if I want to debug, which I would recommend you do to kind of walk through the code and see how it works, what's going on. It doesn't do very much good to stare at code, and it's much more beneficial to you to actually get into debugger and walk through the code, see how it works, examine windows, examine memory windows, examine registers. Anyway, so if I want to debug, I can right click on project, select debug, step into new instance. Okay, it wants to rebuild it. We'll let it do that. So there is the debug pointer pointing to the first line of executable code in this file. And here's my registers window. Let me show you how we got that. Click debug, windows. These are all different windows you can put up, but the one I want to show you is registers right now. And you can kind of pull it around wherever you want it. So this is the basic register file. If I right click in here, I could see flags or the floating point unit, all kinds of stuff. But primarily what we want to see is not the floating point unit now anyway, is the primary working registers. I'll be talking about the flag registers as we come to them in coming chapters in the book. Anyway, so if I wanted to execute this line of code within the debugger, if I click step into, it's going to execute that line of code. And you can see how values in the register window are painted in red if they've changed. So since we moved a value associated with the memory variable IE word into the BX register, the lower 16 bits of the EBX register, the entire register changed. Okay, and also the instruction pointer changed to point to the next instruction. So anyway, that's the idea. If you have any questions about this, just send me an email.